Are you eligible to make a carpal tunnel injury claim? Carpal tunnel syndrome affects up to 15 million people in the United States, and they could all be eligible to make a carpal tunnel injury claim. You might be working either at a computer, on an assembly line, or undertaking many other jobs that involve many repetitive hand movements, and if so, you could be prone to a carpal tunnel injury. You may be forgiven that movements such as these could cause repetitive strain injury, but instead, they may be causing carpal tunnel syndrome. If you have ever felt your hands or fingers tingling, and or numbness or a sharp pain in the same area, you may be experiencing the very first symptoms associated with this syndrome. What exactly is CTS? CTS, carpal tunnel syndrome, occurs when a nerve that runs from your forearm to the palm of your hand is squeezed or pressed at the wrist. The nerve, known as the median nerve, controls the movement of your first 3 fingers and your thumb. When you squeeze or press the nerve tunnel, it makes it slightly smaller, and the nerve becomes irritated. Getting worse over a long period of time, CTS can be very painful. What jobs can cause CTS? CTS can be caused by a number of different factors, including pregnancy. However, some of the most common reasons why someone would develop CTS is due to trauma and repetitive motion. When you make the same wrist and or hand movements again and again, your hand or wrist could start to feel the strain. Activities and jobs that can cause CTS include agricultural work, working as a mechanic, painting, working as a cashier, typing, sewing, working as a locksmith, data entry, working on an assembly line, frequent use of vibrating tools, computer work, playing an instrument. But the aforementioned activities and jobs are not the only causes of CTS. It can also be caused by an injury or trauma to the wrist. An accident, whether at work or at home, sprains or strains could result in fractured or broken bones, could lead to carpal tunnel syndrome. What are the symptoms of this condition? Symptoms can vary from one person to another. However, some of the most common symptoms are a loss of dexterity in the fingers or thumb, frequently dropping things, numbness or tingling in the first 3 fingers and the thumb, a burning sensation in the first 3 fingers and the thumb, the inability to grip, pinch, or grasp, hand pain that may also be present in the shoulder and arm. How to make a claim for CTS? You may have a valid claim if you have been diagnosed with CTS, carpal tunnel syndrome. This means that you may be eligible for compensation for your injuries. Please note that not every diagnosis will result in a claim, and even if you are eligible, your doctor will be required to prove that the condition was caused by your job. In some cases, your doctor may be unable to determine what caused your CTS. If your job requires you to make repetitive movements or undertake repetitive activities and you have suffered from some of the symptoms of CTS, you may be able to put in a claim for workers' compensation. If you have left a job that involved making repetitive movements or undertaking repetitive activities and you've suffered from some of the symptoms of CTS, you may still be able to put in a claim for workers' compensation. This is because repetitive motion injuries can take a long time to develop. In some cases they may take years. In most states, the workers' compensation system recognizes that carpal tunnel syndrome is a medical injury that people can be compensated for. In some cases, and in some states, you may be able to receive compensation for your medical bills and any wages you have lost. Carpal tunnel syndrome caused outside the workplace. If you think that your CTS was caused outside the workplace, such as in an accident, you may still be able to pursue a claim. Car drivers can experience traumatic injuries that affect their wrists. In fact, this type of claim is quite common. Some traumatic injuries to the wrists can cause CTS. While you may not be able to claim for workers' compensation, in this case, you may be eligible for Social Security disability if you are suffering from the symptoms of CTS. If you are experiencing symptoms of CTS due to your job, or an accident outside of the workplace, please speak to a workers' compensation or Social Security disability lawyer, as they may be able to help you with your case.